Okay, it's time for another WrestleDiary, and a bit of a rant at that. Last night I watched WWE Battleground, the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, and for the last 2 hours of the 3-hour show, I was just hating myself because the longer it went on, the worse it got, and the more I knew I was just wasting hours of my life on this utter dreck. I did not enjoy the show. The opening tag match is very good. There were bits of the women's match that I liked. I loved how the crowd got into it when it just got down to Charlotte and Natalya. No problems with Natalya winning. She's a great wrestler and should get a really good match out of Naomi if that's where they go with SummerSlam, and it's good to see because I've always been a big fan of Natalya. And even Naomi, I think back in like 2012, I really saw something in her, like athletically. I thought, push her, like give her a shot, and it's great to see her with the belt and getting over and stuff. She really gets the crowd amped up. But I mean, it's a pay-per-view and you're not having the champion defend. Maybe she's hurt, I don't know, but it's so strange. This whole pay-per-view felt like a SmackDown called Battleground. Shinsuke Nakamura, Baron Corbin was turning into a decent-ish match, and then low blow, that's it. I mean, you just took all the excitement and investment the crowd had in that match, you know, into a balloon, then you just popped it and went, there you go, no DQ. Not no DQ, DQ finish. You know, a DQ finish from a low blow on a pay-per-view. And again, I know it's not really pay-per-view anymore, but people are paying for the network for these shows, and I just thought it was such a cheap... I mean, I get it, that's what a heel is supposed to do, but not on a pay-per-view. It really just took the wind... I mean, that was, I think, the second match or something. It just really took the wind out of the sails of the whole pay-per-view for me, and it just continued from there. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, I was so looking forward to that match, and it was a good match, but it had, like, what, 10 minutes? If that, 12 minutes? And then it ended with him having Owens in the crossface, and he rolled him over, pinned him, 1, 2, 3, wins the title, and it just it made AJ Styles look like an idiot for not letting go of the hold when he was being pinned. I don't get it. You know, you have a world-class professional wrestler in AJ Styles, and you're making him look like an idiot with stuff like that. And I know from interviews that I've listened with him, AJ Styles is a complete champ. Like he will go with anything. Like he doesn't want to just have a get a match with James Ellsworth over with. He wants to, how can we make something out of this? Like he's just there to be the kind of team player and to make the most of it and to kind of do what he needs to do and do what he's told, and you know, push for things that he thinks should be done, like the Nakamura thing at Money in the Bank. That was his idea, to show Vince that there's investment from the crowd in them two having a match, but he very much will kind of just make the most of what he's got, and so but I think Styles should be at the top. You know, he should be in all of the WWE Championship matches because he's the best guy in the company. It should be as simple as that, and it's not like he doesn't get over, it's not like he isn't over, it's not like he doesn't sell merchandise, you know. The whole Jinder Mahal thing, you know, I read that on the Indian commentary, someone translated it for the main event, and they said that Jinder Mahal was painted in the Indian commentary as the hero, and Randy Orton was painted as the evil American, and it's like, okay, I see what they're trying to appeal to the Indian fans, but I just don't think it's the right way to go about it. I really don't, because you have a guy like Jinder Mahal who is a decent worker as the world champion, and there's just no interest for me. There's just no interest. I just feel like turning it off. I mean, I watched the match just because it was this gimmick match. I was intrigued to see where they go with it, and you know, I want to give Jinder Mahal the benefit of the doubt and see what he can do in a big match like this, and I just wasn't really impressed. You know, and Randy Orton, you know, I was just so let down by this, but I don't know what I was expecting. It's my own fault, really. It's my own fault for thinking this would be something when the writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to be anything. And then also one of the Singh brothers who took that bump off the cage gimmick onto the announcer's table. I mean, that was a hell of a bump, and the commentary didn't even react to it. They're like, and don't forget, Orton and Mahal are still inside the Punjabi. Like, guy just probably shaved, like, you know, realistically months off his career by taking that bump, and you don't even sell it on the commentary. I felt so bad for the guy. I mean, I'm sure he you know, he enjoyed being in the spotlight, and if he wasn't too badly hurt, he probably was happy to be a part and have a big bump like that was quite memorable. But man, it could have been made so much more if the commentary reacted to it. You know, I can't believe someone would take such a big bump for the commentary team to just shit all over it by not really selling it at all. There was something else that really bothered me about the pay-per-view. Maybe I'm just blocking it from memory at this point. The Cena-Rusev match was just so stock. Not interested at all in that kind of thing, but, you know, just these bad finishes and just lackluster, you know, like, ugh. and I hate to be the guy literally sitting in an armchair trying to, you know, act like I know any different, but I tell you what, they have the deepest talent pool they've probably ever had in terms of athletes, in terms of people who can get over, people who can make money, and they're underutilizing and in some cases wasting so many of them, in my opinion. You know, like the main event scene is always, you know, the pet project. You know, Jinder Mahal, Roman Reigns. It's never the more popular superstars or the more, you know, talented superstars who can kind of carry that spotlight. Look at what AJ Styles did when he was the champion. He carried himself like the champ. That was an awesome period for SmackDown, and now it's, I don't know, very underwhelming. You know, maybe it's the talent just going at half speed because it's just kind of like a stopping point until SummerSlam. Maybe that's an insult to them. I don't know. I just was so disappointed with this pay-per-view. It literally made me feel like stopping watching WWE altogether. And at this point, I'm dipping my toes into New Japan, and I'm just liking it so much more. I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, I'll keep watching. You know, I'm not going to be one of the, oh, I'm done. No, of course not. I'll be there for SummerSlam. That's always a big deal, but God, it was just such a disappointment. Bad pay-per-view, really bad pay-per-view. Again, shame on me for thinking it would be anything more than what it was probably going to be. But I just don't think you should be doing. Shinsuke Nakamura, what a talent he is, and he's just another guy winning a match by DQ. You know, oh, man. I mean, I guess that means he's going to have another match with Corbin at SummerSlam, which, yeah, you know. Anyway, so that's Battleground. That was my little rant. I just can't believe they've got so much and they're just using so little. You know, you look at someone like Bayley. What a great wrestler who also is over with the fans, sells a shitload of merchandise. She's basically she ticks all three. You know, she's a booker's dream. And they just shafted her character the whole year, like just made her look like a chump. And her stock is just getting raised lower and lower. It's so frustrating to see. Anyway, New Japan. The G1 Climax started last week, the 27th, I believe, tournament. Still trying to get into New Japan, not a novice as far as knowledge goes and things like that, but I was thinking of doing WrestleDiary for like every show. Not going to happen. And watching every match is not going to happen either. I mean, they're pumping out those shows on a daily basis, and it's just so hard to keep up. I'm trying to watch the main matches at least. I wanted to watch all the block matches, but I think that even that's going to be a stretch. So I'm just going to pick out the notable matches that seem good to me, and or if someone particularly raves about them. A lot of my friends are watching the matches, so kind of keeping tabs on what we all think on stuff, and then kind of cherry picking which matches to watch from there. So I mean, day one main event was Kota Ibushi versus Naito, which was an immense match. Like, should guys be landing on their neck that much in a match these days? Probably not, but it sure makes for an immersive and kind of captivating match to watch. Pile driver off the second rope, unbelievable. German off the second rope, unbelievable. They killed each other. It was a great story. Really enjoyed that match, and it's funny to see them open the G1 Climax with this huge kind of, well, not huge, but big arena, and then go back to Korakuen Hall, which, you know, is obviously like the place to be in Japan as far as wrestling goes, but such a smaller building. It felt so much smaller scale. So day two main event was Kenny Omega and Suzuki. I'd never seen Suzuki before, and I thought I liked his intensity and his presence, and I loved how Kenny was kind of acting quite scared of him and stuff, and it felt like there was a story there without having to set anything up. Really good match. I still think Kenny Omega needs to rein in on those V-trigger knees, because he uses them like 6, 7, 8, 9 times a match, and it's just like, it's overkill. And I think it looks so devastating, like it could be a match ender, you know, and would look like a proper knockout shot, and yet he uses it so much. I know the style in Japan is different, and they use a lot of those strikes a lot more readily, but I still think you should try and protect it a little bit more. Just my opinion. Day 3, I didn't watch the main event, but I did watch Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi. Another really good match. Zack Sabre Jr. is one whose style is so technical. I find it really impressive, and I find it really impressive. But his matches can be a little bit boring when he's down on the mat so much, and I think the way he works submissions into his wrestling is really cool and just different and fresh, but it can be a little bit boring at times. But the match with Ibushi was great. It was a bit more high impact, and kind of where I really like seeing Zack Sabre Jr. take his wrestling in a match like that. The finish was great when he powered up from the arm lock into the last ride powerbomb that he does. Really good finish. So that's all I've watched so far. I've watched some of the other block matches, but nothing too notable to mention. But there's already been day 4, day 5 come out, so I'm going to try to catch up with that and maybe talk about it more in future videos. But yeah, just generally that Battleground pay-per-view was so utterly, soul-destroyingly disappointing that I almost felt like just not watching WWE ever again, which is never going to happen, but man, just such a waste. Anyway, bit of a back and forth video, but there you go. Thanks for watching. Leave any thoughts wrestling related down below, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause